Hello, everyone, and welcome to May the 4th. My name's Thor, and I am so honored to have one of the most influential women in fandom. You know her, you love her. She plays the voice of Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars. Ashley Eckstein, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Thor.
You came prepared, I see.
I know.
Wow.
I don't have enough room to do my poses, but...
No, that's okay. It's perfect. I mean, you got to play it cool.
I had to have my lightsabers.
Yeah, you have to, obviously. It's very surreal for me. I have to say that I just finished watching The Clone Wars, the very last episode this morning. I did it the first thing when I woke up, and now I'm talking to you. I mean, I'm blown away, and I know a lot of the fans that are in the chat have probably already watched the episode, but even though a lot of people have seen it, I'd like to avoid any spoilers for everyone out there that hasn't seen it yet, because I wouldn't want to be that person. But, I mean, can you tell us, I mean, today's kind of a big day. It's pretty emotional for you, I imagine.
It is. It's a huge day. It is definitely with mixed emotions. It's the series finale of Clone Wars. We started 12 years ago in 2008. And of course, we've had a couple stops and starts. And even Ahsoka, I've had stops and starts with her, from coming back on Rebels and then leaving Rebels, and then, Destiny and Rise of Skywalker. And so I've had to say a lot of goodbyes with this character, but there's something about this one that even feels more final, because it really truly is the series finale of Clone Wars. So it's definitely sad, but I'm choosing to look at it with so much gratitude, because I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that we've had this journey. I'm grateful that we've had so much time with Ahsoka, and I'm grateful that we got the chance to finish it, because there was a day where I never thought we'd get to finish the Clone Wars. So I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, and I think, Ahsoka is such an interesting character when it comes to the fandom, because we've seen her grow completely. I mean, from a very small Padawan, there's, snips, and then just the maturity of who she became at the end of Rebels. I mean, can you kind of talk us through a little bit how that has worked as far as your process is bringing that kind of emotional range and maturity throughout the whole timeline of her character?
Yeah, well, I think the thing I'm most grateful for is time. Oftentimes, especially as an actor, you don't get the opportunity to spend so much time with a character. And as I mentioned, Clone Wars launched in 2008. And so we've had 12 years of time with Ahsoka, starting with the Clone Wars, and then with Star Wars Rebels, and then Forces of Destiny, and all the video games and comics and books, the Rise of Skywalker, and now back to Clone Wars. So I would say, I haven't done the math, but we've spent more time with Ahsoka Tano than, we've spent with most other Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka, too, she's kind of the eyes of the audience when you watch Clone Wars. You're getting to experience it through Ahsoka's eyes. And I think, we've all been able to relate to Ahsoka. And because of that, there's so much of a deeper connection with her. And I'm just so grateful that we've had the time and so much time with her. I never thought that I would be standing here 12 years later still talking about Clone Wars.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the great things about this last season is the last story arc obviously was huge and action-packed, but the 4 episodes before that really kind of gave your character a chance to breathe and sort of just be who she was at that time. And I thought it was a really good use of that time. How did you feel approaching that sort of like more character-driven as opposed to the big action stuff?
Well, I think, especially this season has been incredible for Ahsoka, because to your point, we've gotten a little bit of everything. The Siege of Mandalore arc wouldn't have the impact that it's had we not gotten to see Ahsoka with Trace and Rafa, just kind of exploring who she is. Mm-hmm. And, that's a part of her journey. We need to see Ahsoka by herself. We need to see Ahsoka questioning who she is. When we first find Ahsoka this season, she's completely lost. And, she has no clue who she is, what she's going to do next. She's searching, and she really learns a lot about who she is separate from the Jedi, with that arc with Trace and Rafa. And, I think my favorite line of the whole season is in that arc where Rafa asks Ahsoka, she says, "Why are you helping us?" And Ahsoka says, "In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them no matter what. I guess it's just who I am." And that line has kind of become a mantra for all of us during this time at home with this worldwide pandemic. I mean, the only reason we're going to get through it all is by helping each other no matter what. And, we would have had that moment with Ahsoka to really see Ahsoka come into her own. So then when you go to Siege of Mandalore and you see her stand up to Obi-Wan, when you see her, questioning everything with Maul and what's right with the Jedi and what's wrong and what's going on, it has so much of a stronger impact. Yeah,
for sure. And it really brings up another thing I wanted to talk about is the book that you just wrote, because this book, I'm a Padawan, that you wrote, a little golden book. It's sort of like a greatest hits of what Ahsoka has done throughout the series, and then also like a lot of these like life lessons, like you just mentioned. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Thank you.
I'll hold it up here as the.
Well, actually, hold on.
There it is.
Behind me is my Star Wars closet, which I'm excited to share with you.
Oh, yeah. Let's see that too. Oh, there you go.
Of the book.
Dueling copies.
So my parents are in the background. They're gonna make an appearance soon. But
nice.
We grew up on the little golden books. We had a giant bookcase full of the little golden books, and every night we would read. We would get to pick out which book we wanted to read, and so these books really shaped. They were a huge person I am today, and I learned so many lessons from them. So it was important to me to write a little golden book that was chock full of lessons. And no better than I'm a Padawan, because these I Am books, which they're a part of a whole series, teaches you how to be a princess. I'm a princess, I'm a pilot, I'm a droid. Well, I'm a Padawan is, all about how to be a Padawan, which is really just a student. And what does a student do? It learns lessons. So, I mean, this book is so full of, lessons about, let's see. Sorry, I haven't. Okay.
No, it's good. I liked how the all the lessons sort of tie into a lot of like really big moments in Ahsoka's journey through the show as well.
Yes. So like this one is about making friends, and there's lessons about bravery and hope. But for me, that's exactly what I did. I binge watched Clone Wars, and I went back to my favorite episodes and my favorite moments and my favorite lessons. One of my favorite lessons for Ahsoka was the lesson about failure. And it was early on in the series where she didn't listen to Anakin and she lost a lot of men. Mm-hmm. And it was a huge lesson for Ahsoka. And so they allowed me to put all of my favorite lessons in this book. And I think it's important for kids learning these lessons for the first time, but even adults to be reminded. Because at the end of the book, they even allowed me to put in there Ahsoka walking away from the Jedi Order, which really, if you think about it, we can all relate to it. Even though these are stories in a galaxy far, far away, we can relate to it in our everyday life. And Ahsoka was choosing her own path. And whether we're kids or whether we're adults, we can all relate to having to choose your own path, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a really great book. And I really enjoyed like the refresh, because I didn't, I've seen all of Clone Wars a bunch of times, but I didn't want to do a whole rewatch before the last season. So getting to read that book was a very good like reminder of all the great Ahsoka moments throughout the whole series. So it was really cool.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And so, we talked a little bit before we started here. You're standing in front of a closet, and it's a very special closet. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on behind you there?
Yes. So behind me, as you'll see, here, I'm going to bring you in a little bit.
We're on the move.
Yes, we're on the move. This is my Star Wars closet. So I have a little bit of everything in here. You're going to see behind me, I have almost one of every single Ahsoka toy.
Wow.
And it's a mix of of toys and merchandise and memorabilia and books, but also stuff that fans have given me. So I'm going to pull some of my favorites out, but I thought, here, Mom and Dad, come on up. I'll introduce you guys to my parents, because right behind me is one of my favorite pieces. This is my mom, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
And my dad, Tony.
Hey, Tony. I like the uniforms there.
Hey.
We're Tanos.
Nice.
They're Team Tano.
I recognize you both from Ashley's Instagram page.
I know.
Yeah, we do get. We have made appearance.
My dad, is kind of looking like, old Captain
He's
Rex.
Rex, old Rex, yeah.
Well, this is Thor.
Hi, Thor.
And say
Hey,
hello
nice to meet you. Say hi to everybody else watching on Facebook. They're here enjoying it too.
Okay, I'm going to pull out some of my favorite toys, but in the meantime, this right behind me, I wanted my mom to share the story, my mom and dad, because this is actually one of the cardboard standees from the movie theater in 2008. So my mom has a funny story for how she acquired said movie poster. So yeah, Mom, why don't you share?
Well, you have to realize this is a trifold. So this is just the center. There's another one on this side and another one on that side. And heavy. So we walk in to go see the movie, and I go, oh, I must own that. I have to have that. So now I have to convince the manager of the movie theater that, I have to have that. So I go and I introduce myself and I say, I'm Ashley Eckstein's mother. And, she looks at me like, oh no, I've got this crazy lady. But I convinced her. And so she said, okay, because they were just going to get rid of it. Sure. So when the movie ended, my husband brings his pickup truck, and we get it in the back of the pickup truck, but it doesn't lay down, so I have to sit in the back of the pickup truck with it and hold it up. Well, now,
so you're driving down the road in the back of a pickup truck, holding on to this Clone Wars thing? Wow.
Well, I couldn't hold it actually, and it blows out of the truck. Yes, on the road. Now, luckily, it wasn't a big highway or anything, so he has to pull over. I'm yelling, it fell out. So he pulls over, he gets it out, we put it in, and we made it home, and it's here. And then I think his first question is, where are we going to put this?
So it survived the fall out of the truck, though.
Survived the fall out of the pickup truck. And
wow. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then
of course.
Oh, there he is.
Of course, my Sky Guy.
I'm surprised you were able to get it so easily. I would imagine there would have been a lot of other Star Wars fans that would have tried to get that before you did.
I was there day one. I claimed it
smart.
Day one. They didn't have a chance.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, it was a mama bear. But anyway.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what did you get? What did you give us? What did you bring us?
I just pulled out a couple of my favorites. So here you go.
Well, I know you said you had your lightsabers when we started. That was one of your favorites too.
Oh, yes. Right? I have my lightsabers. Let's see. I have Ahsoka's Jedi Starfighter, but it's a Transformers crossover.
Oh, right. Yeah. And it turns into a very realistic looking Ahsoka.
Yeah. Then I also have Ahsoka's Jedi Starfighter. So I haven't opened any of these.
Sure.
Who knows? But I have all the action figures. I mean, I have one of every action figure that's ever been made. So I have the Galactic Heroes. And
is this something that you go out and seek, or that people send you, or was that like when you decided, when you got the role, did you say, can I please get one of everything? Well,
so no, I purchased it all, but I did get a head start because I couldn't get some of the memorabilia. I couldn't get some of the merchandise in the beginning. And so licensing they were very, very kind, and they sent me a box. So I was able to kickstart my collection with a box of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just like everyone else. Like when something new is released, I'm going to all the stores trying to track it down. Like I said, I've got all the action figures here. Ahsoka Pez. I have
wow.
many Ahsoka Pez. I have Clone Wars party favors. I mean, look at that. Ahsoka is on
That's
party
amazing.
favors. Two more things. I have the Clone Wars Monopoly game.
Oh, wow. Is there an Ahsoka player piece in that?
Oh, there should be. Yes. Yeah. There's an Ahsoka.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool.
Yeah. So, but this is my favorite action figure. So we had a press junket on my birthday. So we got to be up at Skywalker Ranch on my birthday. I forget exactly how old I was turning. I think 28 maybe. But they surprised me. They had clone troopers bring out a cake full of cupcakes, and they signed an action figure for me. So the entire cast and crew of the Clone Wars signed an action figure for me. So this is my most prized action figure of my collection. I even have like the rare ones.
Oh, that's cool. What season was that? Was that from? The one that you got autographed? Were you celebrating?
This is. Oh gosh, I should know this. This looks like it's season 2. I believe this is season 2.
So like George and Dave Filoni and everybody. Did they sign any?
Definitely Dave. I don't know if I got George's autograph on here, but for sure Dave. Dave is right there in the front.
Oh yeah, I see his Platoon drawing, it looks like.
A lot of the other crew members. But I forgot to pull out. Where did he go? Oh, here we go. My favorite is Stinky.
Come on.
Now,
Stinky.
who doesn't remember Stinky?
The original cute baby of the new Star Wars.
His own Mickey ears.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And I have the matching, let's see if I can get it.
Okay. Don't break anything. Oh, the backpack?
I have the backpack that it goes in.
That's great.
So,
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, you carried that around in Star Wars.
So I would carry this around during Star Wars weekends. I think I have my Ahsoka Tano activewear set on, so I think I got to go do my. I
know. I mean, you're practically in full character right now.
There was something else I saw on here. Oh, geez, there's too much.
Yeah,
we need
crazy.
Like a couple hours to go through all of it.
That's great. Well, I mean, thank you for showing all that stuff up, but I want to get to some questions from our fans here that are watching, because I know everyone's really excited to get some questions asked here. So if our wonderful backstage controller can give us some questions here. Okay, Megan wants to know, what's your favorite thing about Anakin and Ahsoka's friendship, and what's your favorite moment between the two of them?
Oh, my favorite thing about Anakin and Ahsoka's friendship is, truly just how special they are to each other. I mean, they are truly brother and sister, even though they're not related by blood. We even heard it in this last season, where I think Trace asks Ahsoka how she learned to fight like that. And she said, from my brother. And, I think the love that they share, it's truly, of brother and sister. And, I have so many favorite moments between the two of them. I think my favorite is the season 5 finale of them walking away, because you truly see how much love they have for each other right there. So of all the moments, I guess if I could pick one, that would be it.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great moment. And I think it almost is made more impactful by you being reunited with Anakin in the last season. It had weight when you walked away. It had so much weight when that happened, but like it's even more so now when you see, the two of them finally meeting back up again. Definitely. Really cool.
I mean, the scene. Oh gosh, the scene this season where now we know it's the final scene between the two of them. Oh, sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But I'm not giving anything away.
I'm more worried about the last episode than everything else.
But when Ahsoka says "good luck," I was a sobbing mess. It was a really special scene between the two of them.
Yeah, Great. Let's get another question. Let's see what else it is. Allison wants to know what interaction with fans has impacted you the most?
Oh gosh,
It's a great question.
It's impossible to. That's a great question. Thank you. It's impossible to pick just one. I think if I had to pick one just to share at the moment, it would be Star Wars Celebration, because Star Wars Celebration truly showed me in the very beginning what our Star Wars community is all about, and everyone welcomed me with open arms at a time when I wasn't sure if I would be welcomed. I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan, but I definitely felt like the new kid on the block, and wasn't sure if I would be warmly received. And oh my gosh, I was welcomed with open arms, and ever since, Star Wars fans have changed my life. And truly, if I could say one thing today, it's just to thank everyone, to thank the fans. My life has changed for the better because of Star Wars and our Star Wars community. And, Ahsoka may come and go in my life, but, Star Wars fans and our Star Wars community will truly be with me until the day I die. And it's something I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. And that love that the fans give to you, I think it's something that's really amazing is how you give that back to the fans. What you've done with her universe, I think, is such an awesome thing. And so many fans now feel like they're being represented, and that they have, you're a person they can look up to inside the world of Star Wars and outside of the world of Star Wars. I think that's really, really impactful. And so, as much as the fans give you love, we are very appreciative of what you give back to us.
Well, thank you. It's really, it's so hard to put into words how much this all means to me. And I think, first and foremost, I'm a fan too. And I think we know, today is Star Wars Day. We're celebrating May the 4th be with you. Being a Star Wars fan is not just a trend. It is a way of life. And it's awful if you can't truly be who you are and really show off your fandom proud. And that's why I started Her Universe, because I wanted female fans to be, comfortable saying, hi, I'm a girl and I like Star Wars. And, I feel like we've done that. We've broken that stigma. And, today it's just like you said, everyone just wants to be seen and be heard and feel visible. And, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but I stand up when I can because of Ahsoka. And, from day one, Ahsoka's meant so much to me, and I've strived to be a real life version of her. And so I ask myself all the time, what would Ahsoka do? And Ahsoka would stand up for people. Ahsoka would help people no matter what. And that's truly what guides me and will continue to guide me for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. That's really great. Let's get another question. That's amazing. Zoe wants to know, what was your audition process like, and how did you prepare?
Okay, well, this is one I've shared before, so I apologize if you've heard it, but a lot of people haven't, and it's always so surprising because a lot of people don't realize that I actually went in and auditioned for Padme. And
oh, really?
I knew it was a new Star Wars show, but it was so top secret that I didn't know anything about it. And all I knew is that I was auditioning for Padme. Well, I could not do Padme's voice. I literally couldn't do it for the life of me. And I almost left the audition before I even auditioned because there was hundreds of girls there. They were running over an hour behind, and I was frustrated I couldn't get it. And I remember I walked out and I called my agent and I said, I think I'm going to leave. I have no shot for this. And he told me, he said, no, Ashley, go back in because you never know what could happen. Yeah. And thank goodness I listened to his advice because I did. I went back in, and sure enough, I said the first line as Ahsoka, and they cut me off and they said, oh no, you sound way too young. They said, "Look, there's this new character that no one knows about. She's a 14-year-old girl that we're auditioning for too, and we think you could be right for her."
Wow.
So it was even a bit of a longer process after that, because originally they wanted Ahsoka to have an Icelandic accent.
Yeah, I'd heard about that.
Yeah, and I do not do an Icelandic accent. I learned it, but it wasn't exactly what Dave Filoni wanted. And so when he cut me off and he was like, "No, I want it to sound a bit more Icelandic," I did something I never do. I spoke back to the director and I raised my hand and I said, "I'm sorry, but I am doing Icelandic. I don't know what you want."
And that was it.
It turns out that that's what got me the part, is I just was myself, and my snippy attitude, to Dave Filoni is exactly what he wanted for Ahsoka. So thank goodness I spoke back, because that's what got me the part.
That's crazy. You mentioned that there were a lot of people there auditioning for Padme, and they were an hour behind. Were you at any point sitting in a room with a bunch of people just reading Padme lines, and I'm just imagining a bunch of women all doing Padme lines in a big room together, to themselves. It just seems very, very amusing to me.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. I walked in and it was towards the end of the day. So I saw, they have a sign-in sheet when you go to audition. So I just saw the list was full of people, and the waiting room, it felt like there was at least 30 people in the waiting room when I was there, and they were all practicing their lines, and I could hear them. And I'm like, I have no shot. I sound nothing like her. So I went out to my car and I sat in my car, on the street, and practiced in my car. So I didn't hear them because their voices were getting in my head. And that's when I called my agent, and I was just like, "Look, I just really don't think I have any shot at this." And thank goodness, like I said.
Wow. Yeah. And look at us now. That's crazy. Let's get another question there.
14 years later.
Wow. That's amazing. Amanda wants to know, what's your favorite episode of the Clone Wars?
Ooh, favorite episode of the Clone Wars. Well, up until now, I would have said the season 5 finale, but I think it's, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the title of the episode, but it's the second episode in the Siege of Mandalore arc with the showdown between Ahsoka and Darth Maul.
I think that was Shattered, maybe.
Is that Shattered? Or
I think that might be.
Okay, I don't remember which if Shattered was the second or third, but that episode is just mind blowing. That fight between Ahsoka and Maul and just the chase is pretty epic. But I don't know. I haven't watched the finale yet today. I have seen it once. Right. I've been holding off to watch it because I feel like once I watch it, then it's officially done. And I'm not ready for it to be done yet.
That makes sense. Well, I'm glad that we didn't talk about it, because I wouldn't want to spoil it for you since you haven't watched it yet.
Well, I've seen it though. I've seen it.
Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome.
I guess I should say I got an advanced screener, so
sure, yeah.
I did get to see it, but I haven't watched it on the day. I feel like once I watch it, then it's a wrap on the past.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everyone's probably blowing you up on social media right now talking about the episode.
It's mind blowing. It's truly humbling. I want to thank everyone for their kind words. It's going to take a while to process and get back to everyone, because it's so overwhelming. Thousands of comments, and again, it's hard to process. It's hard to process, truly the past 12 years. It's finally coming to a close, and just the overwhelming amount of stories that people are sharing, and what Clone Wars means to them and what Ahsoka means to them, which, going back to your question at the beginning, I think that's what changed my life forever, is when I truly saw how much Ahsoka means to people. I take that very, very seriously. And I know that, whether it be my actions or that, what happens in these stories and in the show, that it's, Ahsoka is literally changing lives and saving lives. And so when you see that a character that you help bring to life has that much of an impact on people, that's why I've literally dedicated the past 14 years of my life to her, is because she really is making a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for doing that. And the fans, thank you. And it shows 100% with everything that you do. And it's just really amazing to have a person like you representing Star Wars fans. It's amazing. So we are just about at time, but I want to get one more fan question in because I've been gushing too much about my own questions. So let's get one more fan question and then we'll. Yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect. Scott wants to know, what do you feel is the most important aspect of Ahsoka's personality to her, and why?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Thank you everyone for your questions, and thank you for tuning in. I'm so glad we're ending on this question because, growing up, to me, Star Wars equals hope. Star Wars to me is a story of good overcoming evil. And over time, now when I think of hope, it's actually changed, from Star Wars to Ahsoka. Ahsoka means hope to me. And she brings people so much hope. And I think the most important part of Ahsoka's personality is that she always finds hope. The fortune cookie at the beginning of season 5 says, "Never give up hope, no matter how dark things seem." And that's Ahsoka. Even in the Siege of Mandalore arc, when all hope was gone, I mean, literally it looked like all hope was gone. It was the darkest of times. Ahsoka always had hope. And, she also always has light. I think, we heard in episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, that, she's advising Rey, to be guided by the light. And Ahsoka says, as it guided us. And I think, we all have something to learn from Ahsoka and be inspired by. I started the hashtag Ahsoka Lives years ago when Ahsoka came back on Rebels. But this year I updated it to be hashtag Ahsoka Lives in all of us. Because I truly believe that, we all have something to learn from her. That, especially right now with everything that's going on, when there's so much sadness and so much darkness, I think, there's always hope. And leave it to Ahsoka in the middle of a worldwide pandemic to be bringing us hope and to be bringing us light. And I just realized I have one more piece in here of my collection.
Oh, wow.
So
that's great.
This, leave it to, I don't know the full story behind this, but I know we get a glimpse of this character in the finale.
I didn't say it, you did.
Yeah. So, but to me, she's this, Convery bird is always with Ahsoka and always shining the light. And yeah, I don't want to say anymore. So, but I keep this bird.
That's awesome.
Everywhere
That's
as well.
Really great.
So,
Yeah.
I hope everyone will remember that at this point, after 12 years, a little piece of Ahsoka lives in all of us. And she reminds everyone watching that there's always hope and to always look towards the light.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And so I know I saw on your Instagram page that you're going to be doing a reading of this later today?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your Instagram handle so everybody can follow along on that if they wanted to?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So today at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time, 12 Pacific, I am doing here it is, live reading of I'm a Padawan. It's in conjunction with Random House and Parents Magazine, and it's a part of their campaign for Read Together, Be Together. So during this time, I'm excited that they're having me read my new book on May 4th.
That's great. So everybody that's watching, be sure to head over to Ashley's Instagram page to watch that. I've read the book and it's very nice. And it really, again, like what you were saying, it ties into so many lessons about what Ahsoka has done and what she means to all of us. So it's really awesome. And I recommend everyone go and checking it out and get the book too, because
Thank you.
just so fun, you know? I'm not worried about breaking it. It's just I can read it,
Thank
take
you
it anywhere.
so much. Yeah, it'll be at Ashley Eckstein today at 3. So
Cool.
hope everyone will come in and read along.
Nice. And Ashley, thank you again for being with us today. Like I said, this has been surreal for me to be able to talk to you on this day of all days. So I really thank you. And, this was perfect. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Thor. And may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.